Before Meta and Fortnite, there was a virtual world where people sculpted cities from thin air, traded virtual currency for real dollars, and made headlines as digital millionaires. This wasn't science fiction. It was Second Life, a metaverse that captivated the world 20 years before today's hype. But if it was so revolutionary, why did almost everyone abandon it? To find the answer, we have to go back to where its radical experiment began. 1999, Philip Rosedale sat in a San Francisco office, still thinking about the world he had seen in The Matrix. The movie's vision of digital reality was not just science fiction to him, it was a challenge. Rosedale wanted to build a place where people could live out another version of themselves, not just play a character, but actually create and inhabit a world of their own making. He called the first prototype Linden World. It was rough, a far cry from the sprawling cities and neon nightclubs that would come later. Early testers wandered empty spaces using simple building blocks called prims to shape whatever they could imagine. By March 2002, the first official resident, Stellar Sunshine, logged in and started experimenting. The grid itself began as a patchwork of 16 regions, each named after San Francisco alleys. The very first region, Day Boom, acted as a digital Big Bang, hinting at the scale Rosedale was aiming for. There were no points, no quests, not even a currency. The only goal was to build and exist. Rosedale's team debated what to call this new world. Linden World sounded too much like a company playground. They wanted something that captured the ambition, a place as big as real life. The name Second Life stuck because it promised a world that could grow as large and unpredictable as reality itself. Testing in 2002 revealed both the promise and the chaos. Early users crashed servers with giant towers or bizarre experiments. Every bug or surprise felt like a new law of physics being discovered. But at the heart of it all was a simple idea. This world would belong to its residents, not its makers. The code and the company could provide the tools, but the soul of the place would come from the people inside. That philosophy would shape every decision as Second Life moved from a wild prototype to public launch. Creation in Second Life started with the Prim, a simple digital building block. Stackable, stretchable, and endlessly customizable, Prims let residents build anything from a single chair to a sprawling city. There were no instructions, no missions, and no boundaries except for the edge of the tiny 16-region grid. Hold on a minute. If you're enjoying what you see so far, I hope you'll consider subscribing. It helps me preserve the history of these untold tech stories. Now, let's continue. Early geography was a patchwork of neighborhoods, each region named after a San Francisco alley, a nod to the world's roots. Residents like Stellar Sunshine logged in and found a blank canvas, not a finished game. The world's first structures were experiments: floating cubes, twisting towers, abstract sculptures. Every new build rewrote the rules of what was possible. Second Life's code handed over the tools, but the vision belonged to the people inside. Philip Rosedale described his hope for a place as big as real life, not in size, but in possibility. The company refused to play God. Instead, it set up the scaffolding and stepped back, letting residents decide what their world would look like. If someone wanted to build a castle, a nightclub, or a floating island, nothing stopped them but their own imagination and a handful of prim limits. This approach meant the world's geography was always shifting. One day, a field might sprout a medieval village, the next, a neon-lit dance floor. Residents didn't just decorate the world, they owned it, piece by piece, with every object created and placed by hand. The lack of quests or points left space for invention, and the only measure of success was what you could dream up. In these early days, Value wasn't measured in dollars, but in creativity and agency. That would soon change, as the things residents built began to take on real-world value. The arrival of the Linden dollar changed everything. Before the currency, Second Life was a playground for creativity, but value stayed locked inside the world. With the launch of the Lindex exchange in 2005, residents could now buy and sell Linden dollars for real US dollars. Suddenly, a digital chair, a nightclub, or a patch of virtual land could have a price tag that meant something outside the screen. This new economy didn't just reward building, it rewarded vision. The most famous example was Anqi Chung, the avatar of Eileen Graeff, a former schoolteacher from China. In 2004, she started with less than $10 and began buying up virtual land, flipping parcels, and developing properties. By 2006, her efforts paid off in a way no one had seen before. She became the world's first virtual millionaire, cashing out over $1 million made entirely inside Second Life. Her story landed on the cover of Businessweek. The headlines wrote themselves, "Real riches from imaginary real estate." Every transaction, whether a designer selling digital clothes, an architect renting out a skybox, or a musician playing a virtual show, flowed through the Linden dollar. The Lindex worked like a stock exchange, with rates shifting on supply and demand. Residents could cash out their earnings, and for a brief moment, it looked like anyone with creativity and hustle could strike gold. The mechanics behind this boom were simple but powerful. Linden Lab issued new currency when users bought Linden dollars with real money. Landowners paid monthly fees in US dollars, but they also received stipends in Linden dollars, which they could use to rent out property or pay for services. Marketplace sales and transaction fees kept the economy circulating, with the company skimming a small cut. At its peak, the in-world economy handled hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and thousands of residents earned real income, some even making a living entirely from their virtual work. What set Second Life apart was the direct bridge between imagination and profit. A single avatar could transform creativity into cash, and the world itself became a living experiment in digital capitalism. The line between game and reality blurred, and for a while, it felt like the future had arrived. By 2006, Second Life wasn't just a digital hangout. It was a headline magnet. The platform landed on the cover of Businessweek, its logo splashed across newsstands and websites. Suddenly, the world's biggest brands wanted in. Adidas set up a virtual flagship store, letting avatars try on digital sneakers before they hit real-world shelves. Reuters opened a bureau staffed by an actual reporter, filing stories straight from inside the grid. IBM bought up entire islands to host meetings and tech demos, betting on a future where business would be done by avatars in virtual boardrooms. Governments weren't far behind. Sweden and the Maldives launched official embassies, offering digital passports and consular services to anyone with an internet connection. Even the rock stars showed up. U2 tribute concerts packed virtual arenas, drawing thousands of avatars and pushing the servers to their limits. At its peak, Second Life hosted performances by real-world musicians, art openings, and fashion shows. Each event was another headline, and each headline was another rush of curious newcomers logging in to see what the fuss was about. For a brief window, it felt as if every corner of culture was converging on this digital frontier. Magazine editors sent correspondents to report on virtual crime. Advertising agencies pitched campaigns that blurred the line between the real and the imagined. The world's first virtual millionaire, Anqi Chung, became a media sensation, her digital fortune discussed on talk shows and business panels alike. The numbers told their own story. Millions of accounts were registered, with tens of thousands online at any given moment. Land prices soared, as corporations and creators snapped up prime virtual real estate. The in-world economy, powered by the Linden dollar, handled hundreds of millions in transactions each year. For a moment, it seemed like anything was possible, and everyone wanted a piece. But behind the curtain, the flood of attention brought its own challenges. The grid strained under the weight of so many new residents, each one eager to build, buy, or simply explore. The world that began as a quiet experiment was now a global stage, and the pressure was building. Every new resident who logged in during the boom years ran headlong into the same wall: lag. The promise of a seamless digital world crashed against the reality of mid-2000s era hardware and the architecture that powered Second Life. At its core, the grid was divided into 256 meter squares called regions, each managed by a single simulator process, one region, one CPU core, no exceptions. When too many avatars crowded into a concert or a corporate launch, the simulator could not keep up. The world itself would slow down, a phenomenon known as time dilation. Animations stuttered, chat messages arrived out of order, and avatars seemed to wade through molasses. For users, the most visible frustration was rezzing. Textures and objects did not simply appear, they streamed in, sometimes taking minutes to fully load. A bustling nightclub might look like a gray box for ages, with avatars stuck as featureless blobs while the system struggled to send every asset over the network. Asset streaming relied on a prioritized queue, but with no preloading and unreliable connections, the experience felt like watching paint dry. Second Life's codebase, built for a smaller, simpler world, could not scale with the explosion of user-generated content. Scripts ran server-side, eating up precious cycles. Each new invention, an elaborate nightclub, a complex vehicle, a scripted pet, added to the computational load. Engineers at Linden Lab wrestled with legacy decisions, single-threaded simulators, asset serialization, and a network stack that just was not built for millions of moving parts. One engineer later recalled, "We optimized like mad, but the world kept growing faster than we could." For newcomers, the lag was not just annoying, it was a trust breaker. If the world could not keep up, how could it ever be real? Trust in Second Life's economy took a hit in late 2006 with the arrival of Copybot. This rogue tool let anyone duplicate digital goods, clothes, furniture, even entire buildings, without paying a cent to the original creator. Within days, the forums erupted. Designers who built their livelihoods on virtual sales watched helplessly as their work was cloned and resold. Petitions flooded Linden Lab demanding protection. But technical fixes proved elusive, and the company's response leaned on policy and takedowns rather than airtight code. For many creators, the sense of ownership that once powered Second Life's boom began to erode. The shocks did not stop there. In 2007, the US government's Unlawful Internet Gambling Enforcement Act forced Linden Lab to ban all in-world gambling. Overnight, the casinos that had lined Second Life's digital streets went dark. Some of the largest player-run banks collapsed, wiping out deposits and shaking faith in the platform's financial backbone. Linden Labs scrambled to stabilize the Linden dollar, but the damage was done. The Lindex exchange saw wild swings, and rumors of a virtual bank run sent users scrambling to cash out. Abandonment rates soared. Surveys from the era showed that most new users logged out for good within their first hour. For creators, the Copybot crisis and the gambling ban made the dream of a stable, user-driven economy feel fragile. For newcomers, every headline about piracy or lost savings made the risks of investing time or money in Second Life all too clear. The world that once promised endless possibility now felt unpredictable, and a sense of caution settled over the grid. Second Life's business model was simple but durable. Sell virtual land and let residents shape the world. Unlike modern platforms built on ads or data, Linden Lab's main revenue still comes from monthly land fees. Each month, thousands of users pay real dollars to own a slice of the grid, sometimes for a private island, sometimes just a small parcel in a bustling neighborhood. This system has kept the platform sustainable for over 2 decades. Today, the world spans more than 40,000 regions, with around 1 million monthly active users logging in from every continent. The community isn't just surviving, it's thriving in its own way. Residents host weddings, run businesses, and build art installations that draw crowds year after year. One longtime steward put it simply, "We're not here for the hype. We are here because this is our home." The land model keeps Second Life independent, serving its users rather than advertisers or outside investors. This approach has allowed the platform to outlast trendier competitors, proving that a user-owned world can endure when it's built on real commitment instead of fleeting attention. Long before the word metaverse became a Silicon Valley obsession, Second Life had already solved problems today's tech giants are still wrestling with. Persistent avatars gave users a sense of identity that lasted years, not just hours. Residents shaped their digital selves, attending weddings, protests, and art shows that blurred the line between virtual and real. The world's first experiments with virtual reality headsets happened inside Second Life, with users strapping on early prototypes to walk through their own creations. Community events, like the annual Second Life birthday or virtual pride parades, drew thousands, proving that digital gatherings could feel as meaningful as any physical one. Designers today still study Second Life's triad of lessons. Give people true ownership, let them shape their own spaces, and build tools for community, not just commerce. The avatars that persist across worlds, the user economies, the sense of presence, these were not afterthoughts, but the foundation. Modern metaverse projects often stumble where Second Life found answers: how to foster belonging, how to balance freedom with safety, and how to let users become more than just consumers. The blueprint is there, written in the code and culture of a world that has been quietly thriving for over 20 years. While tech giants race to build new digital worlds, Second Life quietly proves a metaverse can endure without harvesting data or chasing hype. Its economy still moves nearly $600 million a year, driven by users, not algorithms. As the next wave of virtual promises arrives, the real test is not technological. It is whether we build worlds that truly belong to us. What kind of future are we logging into? Thank you for watching. I'd be genuinely interested in hearing your opinion on this in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, please make sure to subscribe. There's much more to come.